Will there be immigration changes if Joe Biden is elected president? That's a common question being asked right now. Clients of mine are asking those questions. People that call for basic immigration information want to know if Biden wins the presidency, will that affect their cases or potential cases in the future? So let's discuss what if. What if Biden wins the presidency? What can we expect? And what is the likelihood that certain ideas may come to fruition? And what obstacles might he face in trying to create certain changes? We'll start with Biden's recent visit to Florida. I believe more than any other campaign stop he's made, that's given us a good picture of what we might see in a Biden presidency. He discussed three issues. He discussed the Temporary Protected Status Program, commonly known as TPS. He discussed the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, commonly called DACA. And he discussed the big elephant in the house, the big elephant in the immigration waiting room, legalization, a path to permanent residency and citizenship. So let's talk about each of those issues one by one, real briefly. First, TPS. What Biden noted during his stop is that some of the immigration programs, TPS programs specifically, are not ripe for termination, and yet the Trump administration has gone out of their way to try to end them. Specifically, he referred to Haiti TPS, but there are several other countries that have TPS at the current time that are on the chopping block. In fact, 6 of the 10 programs that currently are TPS will be eliminated in 2021 if Trump is reelected. So those 6 countries have a very big vested interest in what Biden has to say. And if you take the population of those 6 programs, that's about 90% of all TPS recipients, all individuals who are here on a temporary basis because it's just not safe for them to return home. He said that those programs are not ripe for termination, which seems to imply that they are going to be re-examined and re-evaluated to see if they can once again be given the full benefits, protections, and benefits that come along with being deemed a TPS program. But TPS should also be understood in terms of legalization, which I plan to address in just a moment. But TPS is basically the guarantee of work authorization for a while. But there are some states in which TPS can lead to a green card. It is my hope that Biden expands that type of analysis so that TPS, no matter what state you live in, TPS recipients, no matter what state they live in, can proceed to obtain permanent resident status. Moreover, I hope that some of those programs which have just been discarded, not even considered by the Trump administration, such as Venezuela and Lebanon, which have sought TPS, that they are given a full and fair review and analysis of whether they deserve to be granted TPS status. Secondly, Biden addressed the DACA issue. And he said very clearly that the DACA program will be reinstated. As anyone knows that follows DACA or that is a recipient of DACA, DACA has been on the chopping block of Trump's administration for quite some time. And even despite a favorable Supreme Court ruling, the DACA folks are on the ropes now as the administration has changed some of the rules. In their interpretation of what the Supreme Court said, they believe they can do that. And so even those DACA recipients who still have a valid work permit, and have valid protection against deportation are going to be limited to 1 year increments under Trump. I believe that a Biden administration, as he said, will reinstate DACA. But again, DACA is one of those programs that I hope he takes a little further, because DACA was the outgrowth of the DREAM Act. And the DREAM Act, like TPS, Biden was in the Senate at its inception. When they first tried to pass the DREAM Act, he was a senator. It failed and failed and failed. Finally, under the Obama administration, DACA was born. At that time, Biden was vice president. And that's because Obama said he couldn't find the necessary dance partners, the necessary number of dance partners in Congress to help him support DREAM Act legislation. So it's my hope that in reinstating DACA, that Biden also reinstates the battle over the DREAM Act. And I think, much like the TPS battles, he can be successful. And I'll explain that in just a second. Third, there's the legalization. And as I mentioned with TPS and DACA, both of those programs are short-term measures. The key is whether an immigration program allows someone a path one day, if they meet all the requirements, to permanent residency. And from there, they can move forward to citizenship. Biden has said that legalization must be put on the drawing board. As a senator for many years, he knows that there are long-term families, many of them going back to the Reagan administration back in the 80s, when there was the special agricultural worker and legalization programs, that are still in this society without a green card. Some estimates place them at 70,000 individuals, and they're now in their 70s and 80s, and they appear by all intents and purposes to be permanent residents, but they're not. They're without legal status. Biden knows that. He was a member again of the Senate when Reagan passed those measures. So those are issues that Biden mentioned, and those are long-standing issues. And Biden understands how each of those work. So he said he's going to tackle them, and I take him at face value for a simple reason. Biden is going to be a one-term president. I don't see Biden at this age, at this point in his political career, running for office again. He has said that himself, that he's a one-term president. His job is to pull things back in order, he says. Because he's a one-term president, he doesn't have a lot of extraneous pulls that will make him second-guess himself as to whether what he does is going to help him win a subsequent election or not. He can go forward if he wants to, based on his conscience, without such pulls. Secondly, the Republican Party, should Biden win, will have experienced a defeat. And the defeat will be of the Trump wing of the Republican Party, which will still exist. But there will be a battle in the party. There already is a battle, but it will be much more heated over the soul and the future of the GOP. What will the party represent in the future? And there will be several representatives who will push for a more inclusive GOP because they know the future of the party is going to rest with new Americans, i.e., immigrants. They're going to have to attract new immigrants, or their party is going to be doomed to long-term failure. Third, the Democrats will have a host of individuals looking to run for president in 2024. In the primaries, there are about 20 candidates? Be 20 candidates the day Biden is sworn in if he wins the election. They will be looking forward to 2024. And almost all of them will be looking for issues to embrace, issues where they can build their resume to say in 2024 they supported this idea or that idea, or they were part of the push for this program or that program. And I believe that the combination of these three issues make for a good situation politically in terms of immigration changes. Biden was in the Senate a long time, and he learned to work with individuals from both sides of the aisle. So I think there's a strong likelihood. He saw the rise of immigration, moreover, under Reagan, and then the fall after Reagan, the whiplash sort of, the counter push to incorporate harsh measures to undo what Reagan had done by very hardline Republicans. But Biden knows that he has the ability to make change, substantial change for immigrants. And there's a real possibility in my mind that we're going to see the greatest change in immigration since the Reagan years. I was a member, I was an insider during the Reagan years. And I didn't think the Reagan changes went far enough. And I hear that criticism now. The left says Biden is just not going to take it far enough. The right, of course, feels that any change is awful. Biden will be somewhere in the middle, but more slanted toward getting things done, not just sitting in the political middle, but getting a few measures passed. And the three that he mentioned would have a rippling effect if he can do something with those in terms of creating a more receptive environment for immigrants in this country. So I really believe that under a Biden administration, we're going to see immigration changes. We're going to see substantial immigration changes. And so if you haven't voted yet, and you are inclined to think heavily in terms of electing someone who will support favorable policies toward immigrants to create a more inclusive environment in this country, then I hope you vote on November 3rd. And if you're watching this video after November 3rd, I hope that we have achieved victory, and I hope that you will become part of the push to help make these changes happen in Washington, D.C. Take care. Thanks for watching. Know someone who might be interested in this video? Then please take a moment to like and share it with them. Also, if you would like more videos on immigration, just click on the subscribe button. And here's a little bonus, a short guide that you can download for free by clicking on the link on the description box or the square-shaped image. Plus, if you have ideas for videos you'd like to see, write a short comment below or feel free to contact me at carlos@VitaraImmigrationLaw.com. My name is Carlos Vitara. I appreciate your time and hopefully we'll be talking again very, very soon.